Well, hell, we're back again to show off some more Sonic 06 glitches. Since we've already thoroughly destroyed Sonic's story, today's episode is going to focus on Shadow and his story. There is, however, one little problem. Due to the way we actually completed Sonic's story in the last episode, glitching to the end after only beating 2 stages, we never actually unlocked Shadow's story because you have to beat the 5th act in the game to get that. So I guess we have to delve back into Sonic's story and try to unlock Shadow's. So the first thing I do is go right back into Sonic's story and try to figure out where the game actually left me after warping to the credits. Would it leave me at the end of the game or right after Act 2? Well, it turns out it leaves you at the end of the game. Around town there are these 3 bells to ring. I go ahead and do that, and after you ring them, it unlocks the aquatic base, the final stage in Sonic's story. Then I go and enter the stage to beat it. For the most part, it wasn't too bad, except for light dashing backwards into lasers, that makes sense. And Knuckles spazzing out again, of course. I also had one tiny issue here because I did not have a certain item that lets you bounce to get extra height. So for these certain portions I had to get up on these ledges, but thankfully there were things I could homing attack to and then get up on top. Anyways, I beat aquatic base and then, well, unfortunately, that did not unlock Shadow's story or any way for me to get Shadow's story. If I go back to my act select, you can see I have acts 1, 2, and 9 as options now. So it turns out I'm going to have to delete my file, start up a new one, and then play all the way through the game up until act 5 to unlock Shadow. No! So I guess I am going to go do that. But first, this is not a joke, guys. At this point in the recording, I was looking away from my screen and just mashing buttons, and bam, I clipped right inside these stairs for some reason. The game is so broken, I don't even have to try sometimes. But anyways, I just start my new file and play through the game. Everything was mostly normal, except Egg Cerberus decided to stand on top of a pillar. Then a couple hours later, I finally arrive at Crisis City. Then I simply snowboard down a building, grind on some massive rails, jump on a flying car, and run from a fire tornado. Then Shadow's episode is unlocked. Hooray! Alright, let's begin Shadow's story. The first thing I need to mention here is that Shadow is very similar to Sonic, gameplay-wise. I was going to make a clone joke here, but it turns out Shadow is actually 35 years older than Sonic story-wise, so that doesn't really work out. The point is, there's not a whole lot to separate these characters glitch-wise. There is, however, one significant glitch that differentiates Shadow from Sonic, and I'm going to be focusing mainly on that. So as we begin, obviously we are in the White Acropolis, and after enough time going through the stage, we end up at these doors here. Now what you're supposed to do is grab this ring right here, which takes you up here, you go over, hit the switch, it opens a door, you go inside, kill a bunch of enemies, and it activates a warp. The warp takes you to Rouge's portion. However, there's a door over here that was never meant to open, but Shadow has a glitch that lets him go through doors. All you do is you simply hit A and then start immediately after. Now, if you do this right, Shadow will jump, but you won't hear his jump sound effect. And if you successfully get that, all you do is press and hold A. It'll close the pause menu, and bam, you will go right through the door. Now, this area of White Acropolis here, as you can probably see, is very barren. As I mentioned, you're not supposed to be able to get here. This is a part meant to be played in Sonic's portion of the game. Kinda useless, but it's cool. But anyways, I get to the end of this portion, and you're supposed to jump off of this cliff with a snowboard and hit a goal ring with Sonic. I tried jumping it and don't quite make it. I go all the way back here and try a second time and just... I go back and try a third time, get a really good running start, and just don't quite make it. I don't think it's possible to make it over there. If you can, it's probably nothing too exciting, so let's move on. I move on to Rouge's portion, and... Rouge, get out of that rock. So nothing too exciting happened during Rouge's portion. At the end of it, I actually tried to jump and fly over Shadow here, but it seems that you can't quite do that. So we're back as Shadow again. Shadow, get out of that tire. Come on, man. Here I just drove off a ramp and my wheel got stuck in the ground. I guess it's kind of realistic considering this is snow, right? Well, that is just about it for this stage, so let's move on. Ooh, hey, there's a stage back there. Ooh, sorry for breaking that. Also, why is Rouge walking in place forever? I guess while we're in town, let's go have more fun with crates! The sad news is that Shadow cannot blast off into space like Sonic could using crates. I know, it's a bummer. The only thing Shadow can really do is if you run off the side of a crate and use your attack at the same time, it makes you slide along. Woohoo! I am currently experiencing joy. Also, I just want to take a moment to point out, listen to Rouge's death sound. Next up, we head to Soliana Forest and I encounter a pile of rocks. Look, the way you get past these is by hitting like one button. You're supposed to use an ability. It's easy, I know. But screw that, I am gonna glitch past these things. It took a while, but with enough button mashing and brute force, I finally made it through. So there you go, you can see the back of rocks. It looks a lot different than I imagined. Then we hit the warp and go inside Kingdom Valley. Now this here, I don't even know if this counts as a glitch. During certain parts of Shadow, you have these hang gliders. And if you crash into stuff, you just go inside of it. That is totally reasonable, game. That's just normal game mechanics. Going inside giant stone pillars, yeah, the mark of a high quality video game right there. And here at another part of the stage is yet another locked door. As you can see, Rouge is standing right in front of the door, and what we're supposed to do is gain control of her and go around and collect 3 keys to unlock this door. But of course, I'm just gonna, do my glitch and get right through it. But here is where things get strange. After we go through the door, you can see there is another Shadow. I'm guessing this is here because when you gain control of Rouge, Shadow 1 disappears. Then after you complete her portion, you go to control Shadow 2. But since we skipped her part, we just have 2 Shadows. It's no wonder Shadow has an identity crisis in so many of his backstories. But guys, I think that is where we are going to end things today. I went through more of the game but found it's just a lot more of the same. We don't have access to all the gems that Sonic had that opened up a bunch of glitch opportunities, so that's really all there is. However, we will come back next week and go to Silver Story, perhaps the most broken in the game. I'm looking forward to it, and I'll see you guys then. Thanks for watching. Oh hi, it's an outro. But seriously, you should go follow my Twitter. I'm just saying, if I get 15,000 Twitter followers, I'll eat a taco on camera or something. Please. I post pretty often there and keep you guys up to date with videos that are coming out, any delays that might have happened, stuff like that. Also, there's some annotations here for you to click. You can click this one and go to part 1 of my Shadow 06 Let's Play. Or you can click that other one and go to my Shadow the Hedgehog review. Alright, see you guys. Take care.